Good morning, dear students. In the last lecture, we discussed how to measure three-phase power using 2 wattmeter method by the concept of phasor analysis technique, and we also discussed about the measurement of three-phase power using single wattmeter method. But the thing is that the single phase wattmeter method is applicable only when the system is balanced, or you can say when we have connected equal magnitude of load or equal nature of load in all the respective phases. Then only it is possible to measure three-phase power using single wattmeter method. In this lecture, we are going to discuss two topics. First one is the concept of three-phase wattmeter, its construction, its working, and then we are going to study what are the different types of error which are commonly occur in case of electrodynamometer type wattmeter and how to overcome those error. So the first topic is three-phase wattmeter. The schematic view of three-phase wattmeter is shown over here. So with respect to this diagram, here we are having two elements, element 1 and element 2. Now what is element? Element is nothing but a wattmeter in this case, and as we know that a wattmeter is consisting of two coil. First one is called as fixed coil and second one is called as moving coil. So here this portion indicate wattmeter 1 or element 1 and this portion indicate wattmeter 2, or you can say element number 2. Now in this case, both the wattmeters are placed in a single box. That too, the moving coil of both the wattmeters are placed on a common shaft to which the pointer of this instrument is connected, and we know that the deflection torque produced by wattmeter is proportional to the amount of power measured by it. So we can easily predict that the total deflection produced by this arrangement is going to be the deflection produced by wattmeter 1 plus the deflection produced by wattmeter 2, or you can say element number 2. So the same thing is mentioned over here. So in this case, we are having two current coil and two pressure coil. Current coil followed by its corresponding pressure coil is known as an element. So here we are having two elements, and the thing is that both the elements, or you can say both the wattmeters, are placed in a single box. That too, the moving coil of respective elements are placed on a common shaft, or you can say common spindle, to which the pointer of this instrument is connected. So if you see the circuit diagram for this arrangement, it is something like this. So from this diagram, it is clear that it is simply the measurement of three-phase power using 2 wattmeter method. The thing is that in previous case, we have considered two separate single phase wattmeter and they are connected in two different phases. But here what we have done, both the elements, or you can say both the wattmeters, are placed, or you can say pack, in a single box. That too, the moving coil of both the elements are placed on a common spindle. That is the only difference between 2 wattmeter method technique and 3-phase wattmeter method. Now, as I told you that the deflection torque produced by each element is proportional to the power measured by it. Therefore, mathematically we can write the deflection torque produced by element 1 is proportional to P1 and deflection torque produced by element 2 is proportional to P2. Because the moving coil of both the elements are mounted on a common spindle, therefore we can write the total deflection torque produced by the meter, or you can say three-phase power meter, is proportional to P1 plus P2, which is proportional to capital P, where capital P indicate the total amount of power consumed by that particular load. So from this we can conclude the total deflection of moving system, which is nothing but a pointer, is proportional to the total three-phase power, and hence with the help of this arrangement, we are in a position to directly measure a three-phase power of a given three-phase circuit directly. Now, while using this instrument, one thing we should be very careful about it, that both the elements must be free from mutual interference. That means in order to have a faithful operation of this instrument, what we need to do, we need to make some arrangement with the help of it both the elements are not mutually interfere with each other, and for that reason what we need to do, we need to place a laminated iron shield in between those two elements just to minimize, or you can say just to eliminate the effect of mutual coupling or mutual effect. Now the next topic which we are going to discuss in this lecture is what are the different types of error in case of electrodynamometer type wattmeter. Actually this topic we have already covered in I think lecture number 6 or lecture number 7 of our course related to unit number 2, where we discussed what are the different types of error which are commonly occur in case of analog type instrument, and there I told you some 4 to 5 different types of error which are normally occur in any type of analog instrument. And we know that electrodynamometer type instrument is nothing but what? Analog type instrument. So but obviously those type of errors are always there in this type of instrument as well. So the first error which is occur in wattmeter is frequency error, then frictional error, then temperature error, then stray magnetic field error. This type of errors are also caused because of the presence of external magnetic field which are there surrounding the instrument. Then error due to pressure coil inductance, this is new for us. Then error due to wattmeter connection, then error due to mutual inductance effect, error due to pressure coil capacitance, and last one is error which is caused in the meter because of vibrations in moving system. So these are some 8 to 9 types of error which are commonly occur in case of electrodynamometer type wattmeter, out of which frequency error, frictional error, temperature error, stray magnetic field error we have already covered in our previous lectures. So in this we are basically focusing on new types of error which are occur in especially in case of wattmeter, such as how the reading of wattmeter is going to change due to the inductance of pressure coil, then what are the different types of wattmeter connection which influence the reading of wattmeter. So those type of errors we are going to discuss in this lecture. So error due to pressure coil inductance. Now in order to understand the concept of how the reading of wattmeter change due to the inductance of pressure coil, let us consider some abbreviations first. These abbreviations we are going to use for the mathematical analysis. So small rp indicate the resistance of pressure coil, but obviously ohm mein hi rahega. Capital L indicate the inductance of pressure coil in Henry. Capital R indicate the resistance which we need to connect in series with pressure coil. This is also known as multiplier resistance, and it is basically used to limit the value of current flowing through pressure coil. Then capital R suffix P, this indicate the total resistance of pressure coil path, which include small rp plus capital R. Why we have mentioned plus? Because these two elements are connected in series, that's why additive. Then capital V indicate the voltage applied across pressure coil, which is going to be equal to the supply voltage. Then capital I indicate the current flowing through current coil in ampere. Capital I suffix P indicate current flowing through pressure coil again in ampere. And capital Z suffix P indicate the impedance of pressure coil. And from the knowledge of your network theory, you know that impedance is nothing but a combination of resistance and reactance. And here we are having reactance, that to inductive nature. So we can write ZP is nothing but under root of effective resistance square plus effective reactance square. So it is going to be equal to under root of capital R plus small rp whole square plus XL, but XL is nothing but omega L. So omega L square. This formula you should know. Now here we are assuming the two cases for analysis purpose. In first case we are assuming that the load is of lagging nature, and in the second case we are assuming that the load is of leading nature. So the phasor diagram for lagging power factor load is given by, so this phasor diagram is drawn with respect to the pressure coil circuit. So from this phasor diagram it is very clear that this V indicate the voltage across pressure coil, then IP indicate the current flowing through pressure coil, and because we are drawing this particular diagram for lagging power factor, in that case the current flowing through current coil, or you can say supply current, lag the supply voltage by an angle of phi. Now from this diagram it is clear that this beta indicate the phase angle corresponding to pressure coil, because the pressure coil is of inductive nature, and from the knowledge of our previous lecture, we know that in case of inductor, current lag the voltage. If it is of ideal condition, it is exactly going to be 90 degree, but practically it is always less than 90. So here we have considered that the current flowing through pressure coil lag the voltage by an angle of beta. Now with respect to this phasor diagram, suppose if you are interested to calculate what will be the phase angle between IP and capital I, so it is nothing but phi dash, and mathematically we can write phi dash is nothing but phi minus beta. This you should know. That means the angle between current flowing through pressure coil and current flowing through current coil is phi dash, which is nothing but phi minus beta. Now from the knowledge of network theory, we can write the beta, which is nothing but phase angle of pressure coil, is going to be equal to tan inverse of imaginary part, or you can say inductor reactance, to the real part, that is nothing but the resistance of that particular coil. So we can write beta is nothing but tan inverse of omega L divided by Rp. But we know that capital Rp indicate the total resistance of pressure coil path, which is nothing but the addition of capital R plus small rp. Now from the phasor diagram, we just derive this mathematical equation, that is phi dash is going to be equal to phi minus beta. Now we know that the reading, or you can say the actual reading of wattmeter when it is operated on AC quantity, is given by Ip into I divided by K into cos of phi dash dm by d theta. Actually, when we have derived this particular equation, in that case we abbreviated our symbol as I1 into I2 whole divided by K into cos of phi into dm by d theta. This equation we have derived. This is nothing but the torque equation of electrodynamometer type wattmeter when it is worked on AC quantity. In that case, we consider the notation for fixed coil as I1 and moving coil as I2. But in this case, what we have done, we just change our abbreviations. So here the value of current flowing through current coil is indicated by symbol I. So this is nothing but I. And the value of current flowing through pressure coil is indicated by IP. So this indicate what? IP. And phi is nothing but the angle between I1 and I2. But in this case, because we have considered that the pressure coil have some net inductive reactance, and because of that reason this phi is changed to phi dash, where phi dash is nothing but phi minus beta. That is the reason in this equation we have written phi dash. So phi dash is nothing but what? The angle between current flowing through current coil and current flowing through pressure coil. Rest of the thing is as it is. So if you apply that concept, we can write this equation as V divided by Zp into K multiplied by I into cos of phi minus beta into dm by d theta. Now in this equation, what we have done, we replace this IP by applying the principle of Ohm's law, that is voltage across pressure coil divided by the total impedance of pressure coil path. So it is V by Zp. Second thing is that we know the relationship between phi dash, phi and beta. So phi dash is phi minus beta. So we have replaced this phi dash by phi minus beta. That's why we got this equation, that is equation number 1. Now what we are going to do, we are going to replace the total impedance of pressure coil path in terms of its resistance, and from the knowledge of our network theory, we know that we can write this Rp is nothing but Zp into cos of beta. Actually this triangle is known as impedance triangle, and if you apply a trigonometric formula over here, we can write tan beta is nothing but opposite by base. So with respect to this triangle, opposite is nothing but omega L. So it is going to be equal to omega L divided by base is nothing but what? Rp. So by using this formula, we can calculate the value of beta. So beta is going to be equal to tan inverse of omega L divided by Rp. The same formula we have written in our previous slide. So from this we can write Zp equals to Rp divided by cos beta. Now what we are going to do, we are going to replace the expression of Zp in terms of Rp by cos theta in equation number 1. So equation number 1 can be rewritten in this particular form, that is V into I into cos of phi minus beta whole divided by K into Zp. Now Zp is written as Rp divided by cos beta into dm by d theta. So if you rearrange the term, you will get the actual reading of wattmeter when we consider the inductance of pressure coil is nothing but V into I divided by K into Rp into cos beta cos phi minus beta into dm by d theta. Let that equation number 2. Now what we are going to do, if you consider that the pressure coil is free from inductance, then in that case what will happen? The total impedance of circuit is going to be equal to Rp and the value of beta is going to be what? 0. So if you put these conditions in equation number 2, you will get the true value of power which is measured by that wattmeter, which is going to be equal to V into I into phi whole divided by K into Rp into dm by d theta. Let that equation number 3. So equation number 3 indicate क्या कर रहा है कि अगर मान लो मेरा जो प्रेशर कॉइल है इट इज फ्री फ्रॉम इंडक्टेंस, देन इन दैट केस एक्चुअल में जो वाटमीटर के थ्रू जो हमें रीडिंग आएंगी दैट इंडिकेट व्हाट? ट्रू वैल्यू ऑफ पावर. सो दिस इक्वेशन नंबर 3 इंडिकेट the true value of power which is consumed by that particular load, which is not affected by the inductance of pressure coil. Now we are going to compare equation number 2 and equation number 3. Equation number 2 indicate the actual reading of wattmeter which is affected due to the presence of inductance of pressure coil, and equation number 3 indicate that we have not considered the inductance of pressure coil, which indicate the true value of power. So if you take the ratio of true power divided by actual wattmeter reading, you have to write this equation that is shown over here. Now in this case, if you solve this mathematical equation, this dm by d theta will get cancelled out, vi will get cancelled out, k rp will get cancelled out, and you will have in numerator cos phi and in denominator you are having cos beta into cos of phi minus beta. So if you solve this, you will get cos phi whole divided by cos beta into cos of phi minus beta. Now this factor is known as correction factor, and it is defined as a factor which is multiplied by actual reading of wattmeter in order to obtain the true value of power which is consumed by that particular load. This is very important. कहने का मतलब ये है कि करेक्शन फैक्टर एक ऐसा फैक्टर है जो आपको मल्टीप्लाई करना पड़ेगा एक्चुअल रीडिंग ऑफ वाटमीटर के साथ, तब जा करके आपको पता चलेगा कि वो जो लोड है उसने एक्चुअल में कितना अमाउंट ऑफ पावर जो है वो क्या किया, कंज्यूम किया. क्योंकि दो वी हैव अज्यूम कि जो आपका प्रेशर कॉइल है इट इज फ्री फ्रॉम इंडक्टेंस, बट प्रैक्टिकली इट हैज सम इंडक्टेंस. दैट मीन्स in that case the current flowing through pressure coil must be going to lag the voltage by an angle of beta. And as there is beta, definitely the reading of wattmeter is going to what? Change. And this error is nothing but what? The error which is caused in the reading of wattmeter due to the presence of inductance of pressure coil. So mathematically we can write true power, which is nothing but the rated power which is consumed by load which is connected in that circuit, is nothing but the multiplication of correction factor and actual wattmeter reading. So the expression for correction factor in case of lagging nature of load is nothing but cos phi whole divided by cos of beta into cos of phi minus beta. Now the same logic you can implement for a leading power factor load condition. So the phasor diagram for this is shown over here. Now in this case, because the load is of leading nature, so the supply current is definitely going to lead the voltage by an angle of phi. Now in this case, because we know that the pressure coil is of inductive nature, so but obviously current flowing through pressure coil always lag the voltage by an angle of what? Beta. Now if you are interested to calculate what will be the angle between I and IP, where I is nothing but current flowing through current coil and IP is nothing but current flowing through pressure coil, so this angle is going to be equal to phi dash, and in this case phi dash is nothing but phi plus beta. So you have to remember this equation. In case of lagging power factor, we have the expression of phi dash as phi minus beta, and in case of leading we have the expression of phi dash as phi plus beta. Now if you apply the same logic and do the analysis, you will get the value of correction factor for wattmeter in case of leading power factor condition as cos of phi whole divided by cos beta into cos of phi plus beta. This is the change in this formula. In case of lagging, in denominator we are having cos of phi minus beta. In case of leading, we are having phi plus beta. So this change you should remember. Now how to compensate this effect? अगर मान लो आपको ये इफेक्ट को कम करना है तो आप क्या करोगे? Why this particular error is occur? Because of the inductance of what? Pressure coil. अब अगर इंडक्टेंस के कारण आपका जो करंट है वो लैग हो रहा है तो बट ऑब्वियसली हमें क्या करना पड़ेगा? We need to connect some element in a circuit because of which the current will read the voltage so that they will neutralize each other and the actual value of current flowing through pressure coil will be in phase with the voltage across pressure coil. And for that reason what we need to do? We need to connect a calculated value of capacitor in parallel with a multiplier resistance which is connected in series with a moving coil. So this arrangement we need to implement in case of wattmeter in order to minimize the error due to the inductance of what? Pressure coil. And sometimes this network is also known as compensation network. Now second error which are mostly occur in case of wattmeter is due to various types of connection. Now in case of wattmeter, based on the possibility we are having only two different connections. First one is shown over here which is indicated in figure A. So in this figure the pressure coil is connected on supply side whereas the current coil is connected on load side. And this indicates figure number 2 where we have make a reverse arrangement. So if you see this figure carefully, figure number 2 or you can say figure number B. So here the current coil is connected on supply side and the pressure coil is connected on the load side. So these are the two basic possibility to have connections in case of wattmeter. And if you make this type of connection maybe with respect to figure A or with respect to figure B, definitely the errors are going to occur in case of wattmeter. So we are going to analyze how the errors are there with respect to figure A and with respect to figure B and which connection we need to implement practically, whether we need to go for A or whether we need to go for B. Now if you see figure A, it is very clear that in this case the reading of wattmeter is going to be equal to the power consumed by load plus power loss across current coil. Whereas if you see figure number 2 or you can say figure B, in this case the reading of wattmeter is going to be equal to the power consumed by load plus power loss across pressure coil. These two things you have to remember. Now based on that logic, if you see figure A, because the pressure coil is on supply side and current coil is on load side, therefore mathematically we can write the reading of wattmeter is nothing but the power consumed by load plus the power loss in current coil. And if you consider the resistance of current coil as RC, so we can write this equation as power consumed by load plus I square into RC, where I indicate the value of current flowing through load, because here the current coil is connected in series with load. So but obviously this equation is going to be equal to I square into RC. Now with respect to figure B, in this case the pressure coil is connected on load side and current coil is connected on supply side. Therefore the reading of wattmeter is given by power consumed by load plus the power loss in case of pressure coil. Now the expression for power loss in pressure coil is given by V square by Rp. So the equation is rewritten as reading of wattmeter is going to be equal to power consumed by load plus V square by Rp. Now whether we need to go for circuit A or circuit B, it totally depends upon the magnitude of load current. Let me explain this concept clearly. Now if you see figure A carefully and if you consider that the magnitude of load current is small, then in that case the same current is going to flow through the current coil of that particular circuit, and in that case I told you the amount of power read by wattmeter is going to be equal to the power consumed by load plus power across this current coil. Now because the value of current is small, बट ऑब्वियस है कि आई स्क्वायर आर सी भी क्या रहेगा आपका कम रहेगा, और आई स्क्वायर आर सी अगर आपका कम रहेगा तो मैं बोल सकता हूं कि ये केस के अंदर में जो मेरा रीडिंग है वॉटमीटर का, that is close to the actual amount of power which is consumed by that particular load. So figure A, or you can say circuit A, is implemented when the value of load current is small. On the other hand, suppose if the magnitude of load current is very high, that means if this current is very high, then in that case what will happen? Majority of the current which is supplied by supply will pass through the load side, and a very small value of current is flowing through what? Pressure coil. And because the value of current flowing through pressure coil is very small, then in that case the voltage across pressure coil is again going to be small, and the amount of power consumed by pressure coil is going to be at minimum value. So in this case we can say that the reading of wattmeter is very close to the actual value. So the conclusion is that when the magnitude of load current is very high, then in that case we need to go for this connection, because when the magnitude of load current is high, then the value of current flowing through pressure coil is at minimum possible value. It will consume less amount of power. That is the reason the reading of wattmeter is very close to the actual, or you can say true value of power consumed by load. On the other hand, if the magnitude of load current is small, then in that case the power loss across pressure coil is at minimum possible value. Therefore, the reading of wattmeter is close to the true value of power consumed by load. So the same thing is mentioned on this slide. Thank you.